Hello, beautiful vegans. I'm Mariquita Solis, and I am here on Monday, um, waiting for Linda. I think hopefully she doesn't have any technical difficulty. You know how these tech issues are. She had reached out to me that she was checking in about being here, so who knows what's going on. I hope she's okay. So let me go back there. So let me think about what I was going to talk about to you all in general. I wanted to really share gratitude for you all and for the blessings that you're doing. I was so inspired this weekend by seeing what's going on at that big event in the United Kingdom with Susan Clark and so many other great people. Um, who else was there? I'm trying to, Lorraine was there, and I think Sasha and Doug Ma. It was very inspiring. So their voice is amazing, and thank you for all you are doing. Also, we had a great summit at Climate Healers. I was invited to be on that panel to sit in with them and really work hard to get the climate healers going in Africa. So that's very exciting. There's just been a lot of great events that we can focus on, people that are standing up for animals and for our planet, and to give thanks for that. A lot of times we might not see that. Hi, Angela. I'm waiting for Linda. So, but she had messaged me. She sent me an email that it was today. She knew. So hopefully she's okay. I just sent her another link. So anyway, just focusing on the positive, which is we are making an impact. Definitely, we like the climate healers this weekend, and then the big event in the United Kingdom, and the what was it called? An activist, the march, whatever it was amazing, and I'm thankful. And so focusing on the good things, like we're talking about, like what's your focus on again? Is it on all the people that we can list that are not vegan, or we're going to list everybody that didn't listen to us this weekend? Or are we going to focus on the people that made a difference, that stood up for animals, stood up for our environment, and to get in that energy of them and to give thanks, right? Because that's where the shift lies. Our power lies in our soul. And I had talked about that this weekend. I went to a lady who, her name was, now I'm on the spot. Her name has escaped me. But she was fantastic, talking about when she left her body, that it was completeness. She looked down and she said, "What am I doing up here?" She didn't say, "What am I doing down there?" Her body was down there. And she said she felt like there was no reason to question anything. All the answers, everything, all the knowing was there. It was complete. And so what she said was that your soul holds that complete essence of you. So the soul holds the power. And so she lives from her soul. And I want to think of her name, but anyway, so I will in a second. But yes, the thing is how to attain that feeling of bliss. That's by, instead of really thinking like, what am I going to do, trying to figure it out with your mind. Thank you, Angela, for texting Linda. So instead of trying to figure everything out and overthinking and becoming frustrated, to contact that place in your soul, to ask your soul for guidance, to just sit in the quiet space and honoring your soul and knowing that your soul is complete, that your soul has the answers. Your soul is here to be a place of wisdom, and getting into that quiet spot. And I'm going to try to look up her name so I can give it to you, because she was fantastic. And I wanted to ask her, are you a vegan? But I didn't know how to just say that. I'm going to actually contact her and see, because she's living from her soul, and she says there's no right, there's no wrong in this life. Let go of that, but let go of the trying to call people good and things good and bad, but just to go with this inner guidance. And that makes so much sense. I'm going to find out her name right now for you all, because I recommend that you look her up on YouTube and listen to this near-death experience that she had. What else did she say? She said she could feel all the emotions of everybody, of all the feelings that people that she had interacted with. And she said the key to this bliss was acknowledging feelings. So the feelings are the key. What are you feeling right in your soul, in the deep area of your soul? And I'm going to find it in a minute. And maybe I'm not, I am going to find it, I promise you, her name. But to feel, we've got to feel. So a lot of times we're like, oh, I'm so angry. I hate this anger. So what can we do instead of hating anger? We can thank the anger. Thank you, anger, for the awareness that what I'm seeing isn't okay. And it's not okay, and I'm going to take action. So the anger led me to taking action. So in that case, we say, thank you, anger. I send you love, and I send you gratitude, because that was the shift. I needed to feel angry so I could take action for the animals and for our planet. Thank you, sadness, for showing me that I have a beautiful heart. Thank you, sadness, for, again, leading me to take action. So these are the shifts in the mindset that will lead you to peacefulness. Now I'm going to find it. Let me find her name. She has a very long name. I even put it in my purse. So let's see. Oh, here we go. I found it. Anastasia Wesselink Mollering. Now, talk about a name. But definitely, if you can see her, she's worth watching. She's just, her story is amazing, and the fact of grounding into your soul is crucial. And that's how we have peace. People say, how do you have peace? And so living in peace doesn't mean that I'm not sad. It doesn't mean that I don't feel angry. I'm speaking wrong. It doesn't mean that I feel sadness. It doesn't mean that I don't feel anger. I do feel anger. I do feel sadness. I do feel frustrated, but those are surface level. And so I look underneath that. What's underneath the anger? What's underneath that feeling of anger? What's underneath the feeling of sadness? And what can I do to make this world a better place? What can I do to feel better? What can I do to have this foundation of peacefulness? Knowing that at night I'm going to come and lay down and attempt to go to sleep. What am I going to do to make my sleep more peaceful at night? And what I can do in this vegan, plant-based movement sense is to take action, to step up, be a leader. I can be a positive force, a positive role model. And if I do that, and that is what I do, I sleep in peace. I can lay my head down and I can say, I've done everything I can. And I did my best today. And so one thing that Deepak Chopra always would say was, this is what I remember. One thing that really stood out: your best is going to change every day. Sure, maybe I didn't do as good as Monday last week, but I did the best I could today. And actually, yesterday I wasn't feeling so well. I don't know, I had some little stomach issue. So my best yesterday was just to get up and try to keep moving forward. I went to church because I wanted to hear Angela Wesseling Mollering. Anyway, this beautiful spirit. I went to hear her speak again. And I'm lucky to go to Unity North, which is about all people, all religions. And I'm bringing that into the Unity North Animal Ministry, all animals. And I spoke with Reverend Carol last week, Carol Saunders, and she said, yes, that unity would be about bringing in all animals. I said, yes, that's so true. So I'm going to bring that up, and I'm thankful for her being my featured guest. I learned so much from my guests. So now I've gone off track, but I don't even know what the point was, but who knows? My point of life is it was sleeping in peace, I guess. So I'm doing so many things that I can sleep in peace. And it was the point again was about doing the best you can. Yesterday, I didn't feel so great, but I still got up and I still was on the Zoom call with climate healers. I watched them and I saw the great work they were doing. So that seeing that made me physically feel better. And today I feel very excited about life. I went to lunch with a friend of mine, and that was very healing. And we got back here in time for the live stream, me and my little dog who's now asleep. But so I'm feeling better physically today, and it was because of friendship. This is so crucial that we have good connections, because we bring each other up. So or we can bring each other down. So be aware of who you're hanging out with, because that's the energy. Either they're going to give you this, this amount of wonderful energy that's going to inspire you, or to really take action, and they're going to motivate you. Or you could be around people that are draining your energy, and they're seeing them not taking action is making you feel listless. So be very aware of that. Who is in your circle? What's in your environment? How is your environment supporting you? Like Bruce Lipton says, like if we're in a little petri dish right here, and we're in the middle of it, what are we putting into our petri dish? Well, what did I put in my petri dish today? Friendship, nature. What else? And this live stream now that I'm having to jump on and do the best that I can, perfectly imperfect, everybody. Hoping to goodness that Linda's okay. I don't see any. Let me check again. Any messages? So I don't see any messages. I'm hoping that she's okay. So, but yeah, I'm doing the best that I can. On the everyday, right? Like I said, my best isn't as best. I mean, it's relative, and that's okay. I'm gentle with myself. I used to beat myself up. I used to hate myself. I used to lay in bed at night just going over all the bad things that I've ever done, all the bad things that I did in the day, why I couldn't, why this guy didn't like me, why I would never amount to anything, because those were words that I heard as a little girl. You'll never amount to anything. And so I believe those were like this big program that I was running. You'll never amount to anything. And then no one will ever love you. That was the program that I ran over and over and over. You'll never amount to anything. So, and no one's going to love you. So you go out on a date and you say, no one's going to love you. Hi, Linda. And that's what happens. So I shifted my life. So Linda's here. Let me introduce her.
I'm sorry. I guess I've never used StreamYard, and it doesn't work for me on my computer. So then I had to go to my phone.
That's okay. I mean, tech is. I'm glad you're okay.
I'm fine. Yes. Oh, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
I also have a light here that's supposed to be working, but it's not. Hold on.
It's all good. I was telling everybody watching.
It works sometimes and sometimes not.
That's all good. Yeah, we're doing our best over here. Our best changes every day. I was just saying that, so we're proving it here.
There you are. I hate technical problems.
Yes, yeah. I know what you mean. They're frustrating, but all right. Well, thanks for joining. I'm glad, because I was thinking, what am I going to talk about next? I'm not going to be as inspiring as Linda.
Oh, I'm so sorry that happened.
That's okay. So
I'm here now.
Okay, well, everybody that's watching, Linda looks beautiful. Let's put that up. Angela's saying, you do
Oh,
look beautiful. How sweet.
how sweet.
Yes, so welcome, Linda, and everyone. Thank you for watching and your patience. Please let us know who is watching and give StreamYard permission to use your name. We are here to learn a lot from Linda. So, Linda, tell the viewers about you and tell us about what inspired you to go vegan.
Oh, that was easy. I'm one of those people that once I found out what was going on, I went vegan on the spot. What happened was 34 years ago, I was walking with my then new neighbor and our dogs around the park. And I had all kinds of health problems. So I told her about my heart disease. I told her about my cancer. I told her, I don't know why I'm fat. I'm an aerobic instructor. I eat healthy, I said. Um, and she told me to look up Dr. John Mcdougall. So I did. And I went plant-based on the spot. But then the next week she told me, you know about dairy cows when we were walking around the park again. And I said, yeah, oh yeah. I love cheese. I told her, I'm sorry to have to give that up. And she said, well, do you know how it happens? And I said, no, what? And she said, well, and I'm not going to go into the details because it was so terrible. She told me that one thing, they take the baby away from the mother immediately at birth. That alone was enough, but there was a much more she told me about the whole process. And I stood still. I couldn't walk anymore. I said I was in shock. I was 44 years old and I had never heard of this. Um, my family fed us everything, and my brother was a FFA, raised animals for slaughter for them. I thought we had to have dairy for our calcium. We wouldn't have strong bones without it. And I was 44. I've been to college, did all that stuff, had a good job, and I couldn't believe that I was that smart to get as old as I am and do as much as I had and not know this simple fact of what happened to a dairy cow. And then every week she would tell me another story about another animal. And every time, I mean, I started doing my own research and I read Animal Liberation and I read Food Revolution. And then I read, what else? One other one. I forgot the other one. But anyway, those opened my eyes completely. And I was an animal rights activist on the spot. It was no problem for me to go right into that. I started looking up groups. I started forming my own group. So that's how I got into it, all from a neighbor who just happened to be walking the dogs with me and telling me how I could get rid of all my problems health wise. And did I know about the animals, the poor animals, all of them? And I'm still in shock today that I didn't know at the age of 44. Now I know some people who are in their 80s who still don't know, or their 90s, and they still don't know. But I thought I knew everything about animals, and I
Yeah,
thought I knew that we needed to eat them
I know
or
that.
drink their products or eat their eggs. We had Sunday morning egg scramble every Sunday, you know, and I didn't know about the chickens and the eggs and all that. So that's how I got into it. One neighbor, and I still know her today, and she basically saved my life and she saved a lot of animal lives because I don't eat or use them anymore for anything. And I also do a lot of animal rights activism as well.
That's amazing. I mean, you never know who's going to be open and ready, right? You're an example of someone that was ready to hear. And I'm sure we have plenty of examples of people that aren't ready.
I
But
have lost myself. I have a lot of those myself. Yeah.
yeah,
I,
well,
um, I always thought that once somebody knew, like I did, once somebody would know the facts, just even one animal like the dairy cow or the chicken, they would know right then that they have to stop. I was sure of it. I was just absolutely positive that when I would tell my daughter and my kids that they would just go, "Oh my God, Mom, I didn't know either. It didn't turn out like that." Well, one son, the son who runs my V Dog company, he got it immediately, just like me. Um, and he had always been interested in nutrition and he loved animals. And so for him, it was just immediate. Um, and my other two didn't want to know one thing about it. I completely turned them off now. It's 34 years later and they're still turned off. They're still absolutely closed minded to any of it, to any of it at all. One thing happened with my other son is he married a Vietnamese gal. She's beautiful. I love her to pieces. But they eat everything.
Oh,
And she kind of rules the roost in that family. And she's so good to my son, except for the part where she doesn't know about with the animals. That's so sad because her parents live nearby and both the kids work a lot. So they bring the food over for the dinner a lot right to them. And it's always animal based from hamburgers to pork. A lot of pork. They eat a lot of pork, a lot of piggies. And so it's very sad. And I don't know how that's ever going to change with all that influence there from the other parents. And and then my other son, he married a Mongolian, but he was able to convince her to go plant based too. So
well, that's a blessing. Yeah, you never know. That's very interesting. So tell us now what you're doing. I know you do VDog, but tell everybody about, I mean, all the billion things that you're doing to help animals
oh,
on the planet.
well, sometimes I don't know whether I'm coming or going because I get involved in so many things. I started a meetup group, I think it was 2008, and I have 5,050 members now in there. And I would say maybe half of them are probably vegan, but they're trying to think about it and become it. So they're trying to transition. So that's fine. I love pre-vegans in there. Pre-vegans are my favorite because then I love to help inspire them to become vegan. And so in that group we do a lot of meetups. We have dine outs. During COVID we stopped the dine outs for a while. Now we're coming back into them and they're going on all the time now. And we have some really nice restaurants in town that accommodate us, even some that will do sugar, oil, and salt free,
Wow.
or at least oil free. So we're really happy about that. And we have a lot of nice people in our group who are meeting regularly. Some of them meet um, weekly all the time now at a certain restaurant. At two different restaurants, they do that. I don't have time to go to all those restaurants, but they do. And there's maybe 20, 30 people each time they go. So, and then we also put on events. So I started years ago. I did some with AJ and some on my own. But Chef AJ, the wonderful, famous, wonderful Chef AJ, she and I put on like a Get Healthy Sacramento kind of thing, or Healthy Taste of Sacramento, she called hers. And then later I branched off to Get Healthy Sacramento and did my own. And she's now continuing to do hers too. She's going to do some more of those. She's going to have a big one coming up pretty soon. But I have been during COVID. I switched to during that time, I've had all our heavyweight doctors. I'm proud to say, Dr. Chi Colin Campbell, Dr. Caldwell Esselson, Dr. John Mcdougall many times, um, Dr. Richard Openlander on climate change, um, Andrew Spudfit Taylor from Ireland who um, ate potatoes for a year. He has his own program, and um, let's see, every Dr. Neil Bernard, of course. Who did I leave out? Dr. Clapper, Dr. Michael Clapper, um, every main doctor we have, I've had on my speaking tour here. And so it was wonderful. But then during COVID, I switched to online, and we did Go Healthy Live, and we had Dr. Jonathan Balcombe. No, we had Dr. Mcdougall for that one, but then we also had Go Compassionate Live, and I had Dr. Jonathan Balcombe and Dr. Melanie Joy, a lot of great people. So um, anyway, it's been just so much fun having these, and I'm going to have a new one coming up on October 30th, which I haven't posted yet. I just lined it up, and it's going to be Dr. John McDougall, and it's going to be Dr. Salesh Rao and Dr. Glenn. I mean, it's not Dr. Just Glenn Mertzer, and one more. God, my brain just went dead. Um, was that Dr. Richard Openlander? Did I say that?
I
Yeah.
don't think
So Dr. Richard Openlander, and they're going to talk about food and climate change because, as you probably know, Mariquita, the when you look at the news, they talk about climate change, and they never mention food whatsoever. They never talk about the animal agriculture system, which is 87% of the reason we have greenhouse gases and having climate change. They only talk about transportation and using oil and gas that way. And it is really sad. Even Al Gore, my partner went back to Al Gore to get his certification in climate change. And the whole week he was there, Al Gore only said one sentence. He said, it's a growing concern. Livestock is a growing concern. One sentence the whole week. The rest was all about transportation. That's because he is tied to the meat industry in his
yeah.
own family. So he just couldn't bring it up, or didn't want to, I should say. He probably wanted to, but he couldn't do it. And so he was one of the first persons who talked about climate change, and yet he doesn't even include the animal agriculture business. And so Go Sustainable Live will be October 30th from 9 to 3. And I'll be announcing that soon. I hope everybody signs up because we have such great speakers and it'll be really fun. And
That,
Dr. Oh, by the way, Dr. Um, Richard Openlander wrote some wonderful, you know him? You know him, Marikita?
I know him. I know of him. I mean, I don't know him.
Okay, he wrote two really great books. One was called um, Food Choices and Sustainability, and the second book was Comfortably Unaware.
Ugh,
They're both fantastic. But I have to tell you a quick story about him because he was my speaker many years. And then I used to go to Dr. John McDougall's Advanced Study Weekend. Have you ever been to one of those?
no, I wish I had.
Oh, they were wonderful. They were expensive, but they were wonderful. They were a whole weekend, all the food and everything. And so I always went to those, and I got to know Dr. John really well. And I called him up and I told him, Dr. John, you have to have Dr. Richard Openlander on your show here at the Advanced Study Weekend. And he said, I don't want a dentist because he's an oral surgeon.
Mhm.
And I said, yes, you do, because he's a fantastic speaker. And believe it or not, Dr. John believed me. He brought in Dr. Richard Openlander to speak. And that weekend, he had the only standing ovation. And now when I have Richard on and John, I asked Dr. John to come on. He goes, yes, I'll be right there. So he loves the way he presents, and the research he's done is so impeccable. And so he's amazing. He dropped out for a while because his son died of a very rare brain cancer, but now he's coming back. I'm the first one to get him to come back after 2 years. And so I'm so excited about having him back because he has a lot to say and also a new book coming out too. So I'm real excited about that. But I love doing anything and everything. And I think it's not always organized what I do. Some of the things I do are like daily. Um, daily, I have a shirt on or a hat on or something that says vegan on it, or something about animals, because I find one time I was walking down the street with my dog and somebody rode by on a bike and then said, I am too. I find all the vegans because I have vegan written on me. And I invite them to my society, Sacramento Vegan Society meetup group. And it's so much fun finding all the other vegans just by wearing vegan. Now, of course, some people don't even know what it is or care about it. But when I'm in the grocery store and buying something, I'll say something about, I know I have a lot of potatoes, huh? And it says, yeah, how do you eat so many potatoes? And I'll say, I'm vegan. I always get a conversation going. And they say, you're vegan? I said, yeah. Would you be interested in knowing how to do that? I don't hurt animals, and I lost my heart disease and my cancer and everything 34 years ago. And you did? Anyway, by the time she's finished filling my bag up, I have given her my Food for Life, because I'm a Food for Life nutrition and cooking instructor for Dr. Neil Bernard, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. That's the other thing I do. In fact, I'm teaching a cancer class the end of this month at a restaurant, at one of our great restaurants, Zest Kitchen. So I'm going to be teaching the cancer prevention and survival class, and I'll have a video showing even videos of Dr. Bernard there. And it's the introduction to cancer. And so people learn about, I teach cancer and diabetes mostly at local colleges around here, usually in the fall mostly. Anyway, I love doing that too. But anyway, I always start conversations where if I'm walking my dog anywhere and somebody comes up and says, oh, I like your dog. Can I pet your dog? They see my shirt for one. And then I'll say, oh, do you happen to know what vegan is? I mean, I just started simply, I'm not threatening anybody.
Right.
And you go, no, what is it? Or yes, no, I don't want it. I said, oh, that's exactly what I used to think. I thought that same thing. And then I got rid of my heart disease, my cancer, and my obesity. And their ears perk up. And then I tell them a little more. I tell them to watch What the Health. If it's a guy, I usually say, watch The Game Changers. I usually give out, and I put on the back of my card, I write the movies they need to watch. And afterwards, just email me. I'll help you for free. For free, I will help you transition, because after you watch these movies, you're going to want to know. I can promise you that. And like yesterday, I told this guy at the park, he said, oh, I eat a lot of meat. I said, oh, I used to too. And that's why I got so fat and sick. And now I'm 78 and I feel great. For 34 years, I feel great. And he said, you're 78? I said, yep. And my partner over there, he's 82. He is. And so I get the conversation going one way or another. I don't do it forcefully. One time I had two nice ladies say to me, no, and I don't care. And I said, okay, enough said. Done. We're done. So I don't go any further. But that only happened once.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I get people slightly interested, or they'll tell me why they have to eat their meat for their protein. Right. They have to eat it for their protein. Do you
Yeah.
get that question all the time too?
Well, I
Where
just
do you get your protein?
got it today. I mean, talking about that. Yeah. Talking about protein and that, but the meat protein being different from the plant protein. And yes. So,
And then where do you get your calcium? That's the second question.
yeah,
When I
that
don't eat dairy.
yes. I mean, then you look at the rice. What was it called? Not the rice study. What was it called?
The what?
The rice study. Then not the rice study, but the China study.
Oh, the China study. Yeah. The
Yeah.
China study shows that one. When they added more cancer, they added cancer to the rats, and the more dairy they gave them, the cancer shot right up. So
Yeah.
if you don't want cancer, because as Dr. T. Colin Campbell will tell you, it's our most powerful carcinogen is dairy. Because a lot of people think it's red meat. They always tell me I don't eat red beef anymore.
Um,
I said, well, chicken is just about the same amount of saturated fat and cholesterol, so it's not a lot different. So I try to explain that. I'm glad I have my PCRM Food for Life certificate because it gives me confidence to know that I'm telling facts I have learned there. I'm not a doctor or a physician or anything, but I have facts that I have learned from my training with PCRM. And so I know with confidence when I tell them that dairy is a very powerful source of cancer. And where else they can get their calcium from beans and dark leafy greens. And so people have no idea that beans have calcium and dark leafy greens. You can get all the calcium you need without ever eating one piece of dairy. And that was a shock for me too, because my brother raised a couple dairy cows. And I thought, had to have it.
Yeah.
Amazing. But
Yeah.
anyway, I love helping people. That's my I love helping people and animals, and I love helping people every day. I mean, every day I'm helping somebody somehow. I also have a vegan mentoring coach. I'm a coaching business, so I do a 30-day vegan health watch. It's called, and I don't like to have over 7 or 8 people per month because they write to me daily. I have them read certain books and watch the movies, and then I talk to them on the phone. I used to meet with them in the grocery store before COVID, and I'll probably start that up again. But um, during COVID, I would just talk to them on the phone. We go over all their health issues, what goals they have, and then I show them what they should be eating during the month. And if they need weight loss, we're going to avoid this, this, and this. And I give them a whole list of what to do. And I have them read The Starch Solution by Dr. John Mcdougall because I want them to get the big picture. A lot of people, in fact, I told Dr. John Mcdougall when he told me the name of this book was going to be The Starch Solution, I said, John, nobody's going to read that book with that name. And he said, oh, yeah, they will. Well, it's a national bestseller every year, over and over again. And of
That's
course, I
amazing.
sell it to my clients because I tell them to buy it because it gives you the big picture of why starch should be the main part of our diet. That's why I'm 78 and still teach aerobics, right? I can teach kickboxing, step. I'm a personal trainer. I do body sculpting classes. I don't know if you can see it, but oh, wait. I'm very strong. I got
Yes.
muscles, baby. And that's because I work out, and I teach those classes too. So I don't have an excuse not to work out because I'm always teaching. So it really helps to teach. Um, but the 30-day is a lot of fun because they write to me every day and they like the accountability.
Oh,
They
yeah.
tell me what they ate every day and I go over at night and then I give my feedback to them every night. So it works out really well. And I've had great successes with people losing 100 pounds, 130 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever they need. And sometimes they don't need any. I have one lady right now who doesn't need any weight loss. She just wants to perfect it, her diet. And she's also, because she's so good at it already, she just started with me and she's so good at it. I told her she needs to become a food for life instructor like me because she can do it. She likes to cook. She took cooking classes before. So, as if you like to cook and you like to know about nutrition and you get it, then you're fine. You'll be great with Food for Life. You can become a Food for Life instructor just like me. So, if anybody's interested, I can help you do that too, get you started in the right direction.
Wow.
But, yeah.
You know what? I mean, okay, I'm just sitting here listening, taking it all in, thinking, wow, what an amazing legacy. And I see that Julie is here saying, hi, ladies. Nice to see you, Linda. And then here's another comment, by Angela. Linda and I share our love of exercise instruction. She's
Oh,
my
yeah.
hero. I love it. That is so cute. Yes.
No,
I mean, y'all are
Angela is
powerhouse.
a powerhouse all in her own right. She's amazing. And you should see how she opens up that body. Good gravy. That is amazing.
She is amazing, yes, and got a lot of powerful women and men that are really doing their part and being great examples. So let me ask you this before we want to talk about letting go of fault finding and blaming others. So how do you do that? I mean, when we have all these people that maybe don't want to hear the message or really judgmental of vegans, and I can understand why people can be very judgmental of vegans. I don't want to judge them. I want to say I understand, why they can be. So how do you let go of this fault finding and blaming other people that don't want to hear the message, that I don't want to hear it. I like eating my meat. How do you step away from anger?
Um, I have to remember that the reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want animals to be harmed anymore. And it's real easy with just that message to really get angry at people for not seeing this right away and for not, I got it right away. Why don't they understand it right away? What's wrong with you? Don't you hear me? The animals are hurting. They're dying. And they don't have to be. And they're making you fat and sick. I'd like to say that. I don't say that. But it is not easy because I'm already angry that they don't get it, right? So I have to take my anger down and I have to look at them and remember that I was 44 before I found out. I know I did it right away, and I wish everybody would do it right away. But, with my own daughter, I had a very terrible problem because when you start to tell people about even yourself of how you don't have to have heart disease, you don't have to have that. If you go vegan, if you can get well, you won't hurt the animals. If you come off as a know-it-all to the other person, and they think they're smart, like they're older maybe, and even if they're younger, they're athletes and they've been doing this and that and the other thing, and they've been successful. They don't think that they have to change anything because they're doing fine. They haven't hit their crisis yet. They don't have an illness. An illness, three illnesses got me going, right? Massive heart disease, cancer, and obesity, and prediabetes. That's four. I had all these reasons to find out an answer. But some people don't have this immediate, or even if they do, like me, they've been trained to eat this way, to eat all the animal products. And so with those people, like I have one client who came to my gym class and she has breast cancer. And her doctor's telling her to eat the Mediterranean diet, which is a little better than the regular standard American diet, but it's still not good. And it's still not going to reverse her cancer. So I wrote to her and gave her some information. She's not ready for it yet because her doctor told her, you got to eat this way. I'm going against what her doctor is saying. It's very difficult to go against what the doctor's saying. So with her, I just gave her some list of books and some movies to watch. And if she should watch them, please feel free to get a hold of me anytime. I have to leave it right there. I can't force any more information on her. I have to wait. And the same thing with my daughter, since I came off to her 34 years ago as a know it all. And she's a big time chief counsel, and she bosses around thousands of people at her job. And here's mom telling her what to do. She did not like that. So I have to be very quiet and not talk about it with her at all. And I'm hoping now that I don't ever mention anything. I don't even tell her what I'm telling you, what I do. And she doesn't follow me on purpose on Facebook because she doesn't want to know. So I have to be I have to wait in this case. You don't talk about it with her at all. And that's what you have to do with certain people. You have to wait, especially if they're family members and they're going to be in your life forever. I mean, strangers, you'll never see them again, so it doesn't really matter. But people who are acquaintances who, like I have one friend, she said, "Oh, Linda, I will never give up my meat ever." and she doesn't have any health problems right now. And then they always seem to find some vegan who got sick once and they tell me about it, right? And so,
Right.
yeah. But and she's in perfect shape. And I, you know, that's it. There's just no more I can say or do. I just lay the groundwork out with some information, and hopefully one day you planted that seed and maybe they get sick then and they want to know. I did have one lady call me 9 years later from something I told her
Wow.
because she had gotten sick and then she got well because of something I told her 9 years ago. So you never know when you're planting that seed, but that's what you have to do. Yeah.
What about your son? Is Darren the one that does the V dog with you?
Yeah.
And so, what about him when he turned vegan? Did he try to convert the family, or how did he go
No,
about
he was smarter than me. He's smarter than me. In fact, I consult him all the time. I just wrote to him the other day. I said, "Do you think if I write my daughter Tori um, that vegan is not a diet, and just tell her it's about not hurting animals? Do you think I can tell her that, honey?" And he hasn't answered me yet because he's been in Europe. But I already know what he's going to write to me. Mom, no, I'm working on it. Don't worry, because I always seem to want to talk about it somehow, and he's going to tell me no. But I thought I'd ask him anyway. He's very wise. He knows not to talk about it with his brother and sister, and he just he's a great example because he's in perfect physical shape. He's also a personal trainer like me, and he's beautiful, sculpted body, and he's 55 years old. So, he's doing well. So he's a good example for his clients. He runs VDog, but he also has personal training clients he does in the morning too. So I don't know how he does all that. That's amazing to me. But anyway, yeah, he just he's very wise about these things, way ahead of me, on how to handle my obstinate children who don't want to know anything. So
well, it's a good thing there. Yeah, I know what you mean with family. That's the ones that we want to change the most, but those are
yeah,
the ones that we need to keep the most quiet, because then
yeah,
we can just have the opposite effect. I know. I mean, and it's really hard also for older people, I think, that are so ingrained in this, like my mom and dad, they were brought up, well, they were from Mexico and living in the small town, and there was no factory farming then, but of course they were taught the same things about eating meat. I mean, they ate a lot of beans and tortillas, but also the meat. I mean, that was more like a luxury. I mean, it's a luxury to
that's
some
good.
people,
That's good. It
so
was more like a luxury.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember as a little kid, eating tons of beans, and now I've gone back to eating beans and tortillas, which is great. Someone was commenting on how the food prices are going up. Well, the rice and the beans and the vegetables, I mean, we're still holding our own here, and really working hard at. I mean, I don't want to say fighting the meat industries, but doing what we need to do, to get the help we need instead of the meat and dairy getting all the subsidy.
Well,
Sub,
they have so much money behind them, the
yeah.
government. It's just a shame, and all the advertising we have on TV, it is so harmful. Uh, every day when I'm watching the news, the commercials come on, and I watch them just to see what they are, and then I turn them off. But they're announcing some drug or other too, and it says, "Oh, be wary of nauseousness, dizziness, and death if you eat this
I
pill or
know.
that pill." I just can't even believe people will try that stuff. But anyway, and all these, I know that new bill is trying to be passed with Biden, and they said, oh, it's going to be great for diabetes because they get all the drug prescriptions cheaper. And I'm thinking, no, they need to reverse the diabetes. Well, at least type 2 diabetes can be reversed. I reversed one lady, Mariquita, who had diabetes for 27 years. She was taking metformin. She
Oh my
took
God.
one class from me, changed her diet, and within a very short time was off her metformin for the first time in her life. But instead, our country here is just pushing the diabetes, drugs, no solutions, just try to treat the symptoms, and no solutions on diet, on how to change. That's because our medical system is all messed up. It's changing a little bit, but like even my doctor is vegan. It's kind of a funny story how I became his client, his patient, because my doctor at Kaiser was missing that day, and I had an ear something going on, so I wanted to get it checked. So I went to the new doctor, Dr. Rajiv Srinivasan, and I didn't know it, but I had my earrings on that say vegan on them, and he was looking in my ear, and he goes, "I am too. I am too." I said, "You're what?" He says, "I am too." I said, "You're what?" He said, "I'm vegan." I said, "You are? Oh, that's amazing. You're the first Kaiser doctor I've met who's vegan." And then he said, "You want to become my patient?" And I said, "No, because I'm working on my doctor right now. He's Asian and he's still eating fish. I got to get him off the fish." Well, I went home that day and he switched me to him without my permission.
Oh,
And I thought, okay, you want me that bad, I'll do it. So anyway, it's kind of nice I have him as a
yeah.
vegan doctor. I don't have to explain anything to him. Now, I helped him get off the oil, though. I helped him get off the oil. And then he read Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. So now he understands why he shouldn't be having oil. It's so hard for vegans to understand why they should give up oil. But then I know the nutrition side, and so I like to explain that to them. I had one lady. I was in an animal rights march, and she said, "You want to go eat this?" And I said, "No, I don't eat oil." And she said, "What is wrong with you?" I thought she was going to slug me.
Oh my
She
God.
said, "It's vegan." So I've seen the side of vegans who get upset with you for telling them that you shouldn't be eating the oil. So it's interesting to me um, the oil part, and vegans even. So it's hard enough to get a vegan uh, off oil. Guess how hard it is to get a pre-vegan off oil. I just learned that word pre-vegan. I like it so much.
I
You
like it
know,
too. It gives us
it,
hope. And
yeah,
then we don't have to get angry. You know, they're
yeah.
previewing, they're on their own journey just like we were. I mean, you don't know how long the journey is, and that's okay. You know,
Well, I think you're right. We have to remember that we weren't always vegan. I was so old, 44, before I found out. And I'm thinking, I was a full on adult and been to college and everything, and yet I didn't know of this. And so we have to be kind to everyone and appreciate who they are as people first, and then try to inch your way in if you can with one good movie or something.
that's
One
very
good movie.
You're right,
Mhm.
and that's what I was at a party realizing that. I mean, it really hit home because I was talking and laughing and wanting to, of course, wanting to say something about it. And then finally, when I just enjoyed my friends, then it came up naturally, right? And so now I'm going to be making um, some sort of cheese, some vegan cheese for the reverend at my church. So that's very exciting because he says the other stuff hurts my stomach. So I really want to try. So I'm going to try to make 3 nice cheeses so he can sample. And then I don't know what else I'm going to make, but I feel like here's
I
my cheese.
think cheese is number one, the most important thing you make, because I think for most people, I find, and it was for me, cheese was the hardest. It's highly addictive. It has casomorphine in it, and that is to make the baby cow so addicted to her mama that she comes back to the mama to drink milk. And when we eat it, we actually grow the IGF growth hormone, number one, like they do for baby cows. So a baby cow, when it's born, maybe 90 pounds to grow to 1,000 pounds in a few months. Well, the IGF growth hormone helps that happen. So now we take the cow milk, and it has the casomorphine with the IGF growth hormone, And we are now growing that hormone in our body, and it actually helps switch our DNA. It hurts our DNA. And then we get cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, ovarian cancer. The hormonal cancers usually are from the dairy. So we don't need that extra IGF growth hormone to grow our babies that big. And we don't need to have it past um, a couple years of milk from our mother. And we're still eating baby cow milk, and we're not even babies. And it's just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it
So,
is crazy. We're so brainwashed.
yeah, totally brainwashed. And that's how I got to be so old and not know one thing about it, because it's hidden from us. It's just completely hidden. And then I like Dr. Melanie Joy's work too, because she um, is the first person to write a book and write on the subject of the fact that the meat and dairy industry has an invisibility, because the way we eat is considered normal. You don't even call it something. We have vegan, vegetarian, but we didn't have anything to call the meat industry and the dairy industry. That's carnism. That's
Yeah,
She coined the word carnism. In fact, she got her work for ahimsa, means do no harm, and for her work for ahimsa, the House of Lords in London awarded her the prize, the Nobel Peace Prize for and the Dalai Lama got one. And there's only, I think, 8 or 9 people in the world who have one. She got one from
that's
the House
amazing.
of Lords in London. So anyway, her work is incredible. And one of her books, Why We Love Dogs, Eat Pigs, and Wear Cows, is one of my favorite books. And you'll see in there is so fascinating, because they start off with a dinner party. They have a big stew they're eating. And one of the people at the party said, "Oh, this is so tasty. Will you give me the recipe?" And the host stands up and says, "Oh, sure. All you do is take uh, 1 pound of well seasoned ground retriever. And then you start with then you got your carrots and your onions and your tomatoes and your potato." They all stop eating the whole dinner party. Nobody can eat it anymore, because our culture says we don't eat dogs. Some cultures eat dogs, but ours doesn't. So we are we don't even recognize that we're eating an animal. We just recognize that's what we eat. So I love her work. And I love Dr. Angela Crawford too. She helped me just recently at the We Did It campaign, We Did It Health campaign. If you haven't signed up for that, please look it up, We Did It Health, and take the 1 minute survey. We need everyone to take of how a plant-based diet helped you. A 1 minute survey, please take it. Um, because Dr. Angela Crawford, I started reading her work and hearing her work, and I realized why and how I turned off my children for 34 years, because I did the approach was all wrong. I learned from her after all these years how I should have done it 34 years ago. And had I done it that way, I probably would have my daughter on my side by now, and my other son too. But I just met her a little too late.
Oh, I love her too, and I love that we went to the same um, the feminine power classes together, the series. I mean not in the same time, but I love her that we have the same background and we can talk about that. And
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
she's so inspiring and has been so helpful. I'm actually going to meet with her after this. So
Oh,
I love,
good.
yeah, I love talking to her. She's amazing. I
Oh,
mean, her mission is my mission, is to really teach people to be effective communicators with peace and love, right? And to not drive a wedge, but to be the example of a lovely vegan, of a calm,
yes.
a vegan that's grounded like you are, Linda. You're grounded, you know what you're doing, you're living your mission, and you can do it without expectation. Like, we're not expecting you to change. I'm not looking for validation on the outside, because my validation's from the inside of my soul, knowing I'm doing my work, and I don't need you to validate me. I'm going to go home. I'm going to sleep in peace, because I'm living my mission and I'm leaving a great legacy like you're doing. So I'm very
You
inspired by
sure
you.
are. You sure are. And your interviews are fantastic. And your work they are getting the message out in a very positive way, which is so wonderful. Because it's so easy, especially for me as an animal rights activist as well. It'd be so easy to want to give up, because it is really hard to look in their eyes like I do before they go to slaughter, and give them water the first time they've had water in 3 or 4 days in 110 degrees, and then they go to slaughter right after that. I show you, it's like PTSD. I get this in my head and I can't sleep a lot because of it. But then I remember what my friend Philip Woolen, do you know him?
Yeah, you told me about him.
Oh my God, I love that man so much. And he's like the Martin Luther King. In fact, I'd like you to interview him. He's like the Martin Luther King of our movement, our vegan movement. And he always says, when people ask him, how do you keep from getting so upset and don't want to quit? And I say now, he says, which helps me so much. What I do now is I keep doing my vigils. I keep doing my animal rights activism. I got arrested once, and
Uh-huh.
it's my claim to fame for the animals, for Rose's Law for the chickens. Anyway, um, I didn't do anything terrible. I was just standing there with the sign and got arrested with everybody else. But what Philip Woolen says is, I don't stop because I know of their suffering, and their suffering so much greater than mine. I let go of my suffering so I can keep helping. And
Mm,
he's a philanthropist. He was the vice president of Citibank at the age of 37, and now he gave that all up. He said, I gave up Learjets and a fancy lifestyle, and he gives all that money to animal organizations like Rhino Rescue and Sea Shepherd, and these places all over the world who do great things to save animals. He gives so much money to them from his kindness trust, and it is just amazing what his work is so powerful. And he's um get the animals, no, I think it's take the animals off the menu is his 10-minute speech that he won the international debate for, um in Australia.
I
And
saw it.
I'd love, isn't it Australia? Yeah.
I'm not sure,
So,
but I saw that. I saw it. It was amazing. You told me to watch it, and I did.
oh my goodness, I watch that once a week. It's called Get the Animals Off the Menu. Philip Woolen with one L. Philip with one L. If you can Google that and watch that 10-minute speech, I watch it every week for inspiration, because his words are so powerful. He said things like, when we suffer as equals. A
Mm,
dog is a pig, is a bear, is a boy. And as long as the suffering is going on with these animals, I will fight. I will fight my whole life. I will try to do it in a positive way and do it more like Dr. Angela Crawford has taught me, so that I can be more effective at it, because turning people off doesn't help anybody. It just stops your effort right there. So I have to be as positive as possible, recognize that I wasn't always a vegan, and so I have to remember that they think what they're doing is fine. They think
yeah.
everything is fine, especially if they don't have a health emergency or something. Then it's even harder, because they don't have any reason to change. And all their friends eat that way, their family eats that way. They don't want to be the one to be the big party pooper in
Right.
the family.
You're
So
right. It makes so much sense. Who wants to be a vegan? I see how people
Yeah,
judge vegans, right? I don't want to be a
yeah.
vegan.
Once in a while, I do stand up comedy along with AJ, not with her, but on the same team. And the first thing I tell people is, if you have too many friends, hey, that's no problem. Just tell them you're vegan, because
That's funny.
it happens. I mean, I did lose some friends. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
don't get invited to the barbecues, anymore.
right. Yes.
So I almost lost after my husband passed away 8 years ago. I met my new partner 7 years ago. And right away, his sister invited us to all their friends' barbecue. And I knew it would be meat based. So I brought two little veggie patties for us to put on the grill. When she found out, she was so embarrassed. She never invited us again. And now lately, this is like 7 years later, I've been inviting her out for coffee or tea or something. And we're trying to and she's kind of starting to like me now.
Uh-huh.
But it's all her friends ate that way. I had to be the party pooper and bring two veggie burger. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen down the road, right? You just don't know. I mean, we just don't
Oh
know.
no, in the meantime, she had a heart attack
Oh, wow.
and went to the hospital. And my partner and I went to visit. And she had her lunch plate there. It was sausage and cheese, a whole bunch of stuff. Grilled cheese sandwich and sausage. That was on her dinner plate,
Oh,
her lunch plate. Yeah. And I couldn't say a word, of course.
yeah.
But I'm thinking, it's so sad. Our medical system is so far behind.
Gosh, what an understatement. I know, huh? What is going on? Oh my gosh.
Do you have any doctors who are vegan?
Well, I know Dr. Akil Teher. I met him and he's amazing. Um,
What's his name?
Akil, Dr. Teher, Dr. Akil Teher, the one that
Oh,
did
I don't know him.
Open Heart. He's here in Atlanta. And so I was
Oh,
so
okay.
blessed to meet him. Um,
Nice.
but that's just not something really that comes up. I mean, not that. I mean, that's not what the doctors bring up. Of course, they don't. The last I mean, the doctor that I see, she was very nice, and she was not against veganism or anything. She seemed very open to it, you know.
Oh, good.
So yes, and so I mean, thank God I'm doing really well, knock on wood. But yeah, I it's a blessing, and there just doesn't happen much to find an open-minded doctor like that. I mean, in my experience.
Yeah, I gave at the gym where I was teaching way back when, they let me teach one of my cancer food for life classes. And I didn't know it, but the local Kaiser doctor, the breast cancer doctor, came to my class. I was teaching cancer class, and he has the breast cancer stamp.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, he is now teaching lifestyle because of me. And that makes me so proud. So
That's
I know he's teaching that at Kaiser. So I didn't even know he was coming. And so it was real exciting. In fact, I named my dog after him.
oh,
I was so excited about having him there. He and his assistant came, and now they teach lifestyle at Kaiser. So there's one doctor over there I know doing that, and my doctor too. So
well, that's
I asked
fun.
my doctor, I said, do you ever tell any of the other doctors about your plant based eating? He said, no. They're
Okay.
afraid. I'm afraid
Yeah.
of losing his job, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're
I can
afraid
see
of losing his job or being snubbed in the doctor's office. I mean, luncheon or something.
that. Right. Yes. Well,
Who knew?
I'm, I'm looking at these great comments. And this Julius is really working hard in his community. This young man, I'm just thankful for him and everything he's doing in Africa. And then we've got now I know you know Faik.
Yes, yes. I love Faik. I love him. He's got great things in the future coming. You wait till
Yes,
you see what's coming.
I've been talking
Um,
to him, so I'm excited.
yeah,
Yes.
middle of August, he's going to launch something really big.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited for him. He's a delight. I spoke with him the other day on Zoom.
Oh,
So,
good.
and then here's another really good. Linda, you're an angel on earth. I know you are
Oh,
to do everything that
oh,
you do.
so are you, sweetheart. Yeah.
And
Thank you. Anyway,
yeah,
yeah, it's he's got Faik has a vegan stay coming up, which is from the Vegan Lighthouse, which is really amazing. For a way for farm sanctuaries to make money, which they so desperately need. So I'm real excited about his work coming up.
yes, I mean, he's got such a good heart. I love meeting all of you all. I mean, just to be around people with beautiful souls is so empowering and uplifting, and knowing
Yeah,
that we're doing the best we can. We're not perfect, but we're still going back out there. You're giving water to drink to those animals, and then, just being able to say a blessing for them, them seeing the love from you. It's just a tremendous blessing, and allowing them to go in peace. I think about what, oh, now I can't think of her name. Um, DeRoos. Now I can't think of her first name. Bianca DeRoos was talking about. She's vegan and the animal communicator, talking about when their spirits are gone. That they're immediately in peace and bliss. And I think that's what I have to remember, that these animals, yes, they're gone, but now we don't have to feel sad anymore. They're in a better place than we are. They're just in a tremendous place of
yeah,
peace. And to,
yeah.
so,
That gives me hope too, knowing that. It gives me comfort knowing that, because they lived hell on earth while they were here, and for no reason whatsoever. And so knowing that they are are in peace later just really helps me
yes, I hold
accept
on
it.
to those words. Yeah, I mean, I keep thinking about that, about how when we had our talk, she talked about that. And I mean, many examples that she gave. And even my friend told me that she saw my little dog, Mick, who I lost this year, that he came and appeared to her, and that Mick was playing and joyful. And when I went to the energy healers at my church, um, they said that Mick was there and they could feel his energy of him dancing around and playing too. So, I mean,
Uh,
and knowing these beautiful animals, that they're living in peace, and we can just be thankful for that, to share.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Well, there are many angels in the world who are doing amazing work to help animals all the time. And I'm just incredibly impressed with people who do that, from rescuing dogs. I know PETA just rescued 25 dogs that were being bred, beagles, probably for lab experiments. Uh, they rescued 25 of them, and they didn't have any problem finding homes either for
oh,
them. So wonderful people stepped up and helped them. That makes my spirit happy.
I
I just,
know that's beautiful.
yeah, no, a lot of people get mad at PETA for different reasons. I think they just, I don't know why, but they have done amazing work over the years. I was able to meet Ingrid, so I was so happy to be. I do a lot of work for PETA too, different demonstrations. We do, like the next one is Urban Outfitters. We're going to be doing a demonstration with signs, and we'll probably walk in the store and tell people what's going on with the fur and the skin industry, because Urban Outfitters sells all kinds of animal skins, and so we're trying to educate people. Um, it is very direct, but that's okay. These are not people we know, and I know, because people have told me that they didn't know anything about it until PETA did this or that. So I'm real happy to help them too, because they have made a big difference in the world. For one thing, they get attention. They get attention placed on them of what's going on. So even if it's not there at the store, that'll go on social media and all over the place, where people can say, "Oh my God, I didn't know that they did that with ducks," um, and they did. I didn't know they did that with alligators, and it's just horrible. There's
Yeah.
there's a new one I want to start looking into. I know Sea Shepherd helps a lot, but I want to look into cruise ships. Have you heard much about cruise ships? For climate change, they are one of the worst things on the earth. They
Oh,
take so
wow.
much, it's like a city block long. I mean, it's like a small city in size, and they dump all the waste from the ship in the water. And the
Oh,
mongoose are dying off so quickly. And the noise from the ship also kills the animals. So it's the noise, the pollution, the waste, and the amount of tons of oil that it takes to move it like a few inches with a cruise ship is astounding. And they're going on all around the world. So one of my new focuses is going to be on cruise ships. So I'm going to try to educate people about that because I didn't know until like yesterday. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know the extent of it. So that's another area I want to get into.
well,
In
I'm
fact,
glad
I'm
you
going
told
to
me.
call PETA and ask them if they have any information on that and are they working on it because I want to know what they're doing. And then we also have primate. You know, I used to live in
Oh,
Davis, California. We have a primate center there, one of the bigger ones in the world. And I used to run by there because I used to live there and I could hear the animals screaming inside. Well, I started doing protests right away. And now that was many years ago. And for the last 10, 15 years or more, they have not allowed any demonstrators to come even near. They roped it all off. And the police allow it. We can't even get close to the center. So anyway, there's more things I want to do for that too because their lives are so horrible. Ugh.
I know. You're right. I mean, we've got that here in Atlanta too. And I've done the FERD protest and I've done the PETA protest too. And I felt like, yeah, I mean, yes, I think that any organization, nobody's going to agree with them 100%, but PETA does a
Right.
lot of good work, right? And I've called PETA for a neighbor that had this dog in just a tiny little fenced area for the longest time. And she helped me so much with that. I really,
Oh,
really
good.
appreciated her. Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, I really appreciate them. But
Yeah.
I'm appreciating you and everything you're doing. I guess we need to wrap it up.
Okay.
But listen, I want Linda, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you. I mean, I know you're on Facebook, but where else? I mean, sum it up what you want to, what are some things you want to say at the end that you want people to know here and where they can find you.
Well, I just want people, sorry, to know that if you're not quite vegan yet, don't worry. I can help you. I can help you transition. It won't be hard. I can go as slowly as we need to. Sorry, I've got something caught in my throat right now. Um, so I want you to know that it's not insurmountable. I have one client right now who is um, taking it very slowly. It will probably take 2 months before she starts because she's doing all the research to know why she needs to do this. So not everybody does it right away. So I want you to know that it's possible to do it slow, it's possible to do it fast, whatever you're ready for. And then you can get a hold of me at veganmentor@gmail.com. Vegan Mentor is my business. It's also a website. But I'm on Instagram as Linda M. Vegan. But mostly I'm on Facebook. And so you can always find me there under Linda Middlesworth. And then I have a 30-day vegan health watch. If you're interested in doing a 30-day with me, just email me at veganmentor@gmail.com is the best way. Or you can text me at my phone number, 916-798-5516. And that's the best way. But I really hope that you feel like you want to try because I can help you. And if you're already there and you want to improve your diet, I can help you because I know a lot of vegans are struggling with their weight sometimes, like I did. Oh my goodness, I really struggled with my weight. So I know how that goes. And if you have any chronic disease, I can help you get started and send you to the right doctor to help you as well. So I have all kinds of ways to help people, and I greatly hope you will look me up because I'd like to meet you and help you any way I can.
Well, you are an angel. Definitely, like Angela says. Remember, we're angels
Oh,
on
thank
earth.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
So are you. Thank you for your wonderful work too, Mariquita. That's so wonderful what you're doing. I'm so amazed at your interviews. They're always fascinating and fantastic. Thank you.
Well, it's a blessing, to be with such beautiful, inspirational people. So I'm very honored and blessed. So thank you so much, Linda, for
You're
everything.
so welcome.
And thanks everybody for watching. And thank you for everything you're doing, all you beautiful vegan people, earth loving, tree huggers, and what else is there? Animal loving, plant powered people. Thank you. Oh yeah,
Thank you.
namaste vegan.
Oh, I gotta do
Yeah,
that. There you go.
yeah. All right.